the online revolution now and spread the word. Toxic Radio. Don't play it safe. Play it toxic.
On the line, we have the one and only Thrasher of the Headbangers. What's going on?
That's right. What's going on, guys? How are you?
Doing great, man. How you doing?
I'm doing just dandy.
Yeah, just dandy? Are you doing tremendous?
I'm bringing it back. Tremendous, yes.
Yep.
Dandy, tremendous. Dandily tremendous.
Stanley Tremendous. What was it last week? I think it was. The weeks just roll into each other. But last week, or the week before, you made your return to SmackDown Live.
Yes, we did. It was in Dallas, Texas.
Texas.
The 30th.
Yeah, okay.
Of August.
So it was last week.
Yeah.
It was last week.
Yeah.
How'd it feel to be back?
It was awesome. It was really good. It was really nice. We got to, despite of what some people were saying, I guess on the internet, I thought we got a very good reaction from the Dallas crowd.
You got a good reaction out of me and Nick.
Yeah, I know. We're watching on SmackDown.
It was good. It was more than I expected after 15 years. I mean, 15 years is in wrestling time is it's a
millennia.
So it was.
That's a whole new fan base you got to cater to, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
it was neat. It was cool to see WWE actually go over and beyond and play a little, I guess, a segment of us before we came out to try to reintroduce us to the crowd and stuff like that. But, I thought, for the most part and what we had time-wise to work with, we had a good time with it.
Yeah, I think just because, WWE fans are historically,
astute.
They're very historically astute, especially with the network out now. So,
yes.
Even if, it's also just summertime, school's just getting back, so I guarantee you, during the whole summer, the really big fans that are little kids that probably weren't around or old enough to really care to watch wrestling when you guys were on TV, they probably seen just old stuff just from back then, just from the network.
It's so funny because I can always tell when I don't know, I don't quite know how the network works, but I can tell when some of our stuff is on TV more than it's not.
Yeah.
Because we receive a whole lot more phone calls from promoters trying to book us for shows and stuff like that. So,
oh, wow.
That's great,
yeah. Yep. And, it keeps us, semi-relevant.
Yeah, I mean, when I heard you guys were coming back, because you and I are friends on Facebook, so I saw when you shared that, because I don't go on the internet too much. It's pretty much, I usually let Nick here. He usually looks up a lot of the wrestling stuff because I do almost everything else for the show, so I'm not really looking up on what's going on in WWE right now. I keep updated just to stay astute to the show, but I didn't see any advertisements for the Headbangers, but I saw you share it, and I got really excited.
It was really weird. We were in talks with them the Friday before that.
Just a week before that?
Oh, wow.
It was a week before that, and we were supposed to do the SmackDown that I guess that was in Connecticut.
Okay.
Right.
But that fell through, and Road Dogg is actually the one that contacted us.
Huh. Oh, perfect.
So they were, yes. So they were trying to do everything they could to push the storyline back some so we could actually come in and, do the spot that we did on, the Tuesday in Dallas.
That's great, though.
So
I mean,
it was very, very fast. It was surprising, to say the least.
Oh,
we haven't heard hide or hair from them in 16 years.
Yeah.
And, frankly, we've always been, WWF, WWE guys. It's the only company that we ever worked for.
Yeah.
Yeah, besides the couple of matches on all those different independent circuits I know you guys worked with.
And, we did Ring of Honor. That was a short stint. As soon as Cornette was gone, we were gone right with him. So
yeah.
It was...
That was the Guardians of Truth, wasn't it?
That's right, yep.
Okay.
Yep. And then Cornette, we masked ourselves and got a huge ovation. It was in Baltimore. And we were wrestling against the Briscoes. The next TV, we had a really good match with them. And then we never heard from them again, and that was Cornette's last TV.
Oh, wow.
So I guess we go where Cornette goes. So he's the one that invented and came up with the Headbangers. And, so we've always been, Jim Cornette's always been near and dear to our hearts.
I love Jim Cornette. I think I never met him personally, but just his mind for the business and the fact that he doesn't mince words. If he doesn't like you, he'll let you know about it.
And hard.
What I always say about Jim Cornette is, if you don't want to know the answer, don't ask him the question, because he's gonna fucking tell you straight up how it is.
Oh, that's what, I like that. I like that about him.
They said I could say fuck, honey.
Yeah.
They said I could curse.
Yeah, you can say fuck.
Don't worry about it. You're good.
She's sitting in the car next to me. She goes, "You just said fuck."
That's it. We're off the air.
Son of a bitch. But,
might as well go all out now.
But that's what I always tell Jim Cornette, my Cornette story. If you don't want to know a straight up answer, don't ask Jim Cornette the question, because he's going to tell you whether you like the answer or not.
Oh yeah.
And that was the one thing that, when I first started in wrestling and stuff like that, he always used to come up to the Monster Factory, and he used to manage Chris Candido when we used to do our Monster Factory shows. Yes, years ago, back in like 91. So I got really close with Cornette, and I wrestled under a hood, and I was called the Spider. And Jim Cornette absolutely hated masks. He said you can't sell right because you can't get the facial expressions and everything else. So he saw us, it was WrestleMania time when it was down in Miami, because me and Chaz both live in South Florida now. So we did a show, and he was on there, and he watched it. We asked him, we said, "Hey, watch our match, tell us what you think," and everything else, because of course we're trying to get our foot in the door with Ring of Honor.
Of course.
And we came back, and he goes, "Jesus Christ, it looked like 1997 all over again."
Oh yeah.
And again, if you don't want to know the answer, don't ask him the question, because he's going to tell you straight up. So it was a relief for us to hear him say that.
Yeah.
And he goes, give me a couple weeks, guys, and let me see what I can find out.
That's
so
really
then
cool.
He calls us up with this Guardians of Truth gimmick, and we were going to be with Truth Martini, and and he comes up with these mask gimmick, and we're like, "Jimmy, you always told us you didn't like hoods." He's like, "Yeah, but this is going to work. This is going to work."
I swear.
The Ring of Honor crowd shits on WWF, WWE guys, and they don't like them. So we did it, and then we unmasked, and then that was short-lived. So I think we could have had great matches with the Briscoes.
I think that when it comes to your era and the stuff that we grew up, me and Nick grew up with, the Attitude Era, when it comes to like that group of superstars from WWE, you're kind of exempt from any of the hatred of the WWE. Like, I think they're talking about just like in the last 5-6 years they have such a stigma against, because when everyone talks about wrestling, we all think of the Attitude Era, especially the independent fans. Those are the first fans that would tell you, we want it back to the Attitude Era. So I can't see, even if you came out as the Headbangers, I can't see anybody booing you out of the building.
No.
I can't.
Well, it was funny because when we took the hoods off in Maryland, in Baltimore, the place went nuts. And it absolutely went nuts. So we cut a promo on the Briscoes and stuff like that. And it went over really big and really good.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Maybe it's, other people's stigma and stuff like that works in the office. But, I mean, not for anything. We had a really good time working with Ring of Honor. We met a lot of great guys. Kevin was still there, Owen, Steen, whatever you want to call him. He was there. We met the Briscoe brothers.
Of course.
Charlie was there, Hoss, and
wow, Charlie Hoss.
Sheldon was there. So, yeah, they were still there. And, we got to meet a lot of great guys and stuff like that. And they, that Ring of Honor roster has a great, great depth and talent.
They are very talented.
So, yes.
Well, when you went back to SmackDown, when you first arrived, before you went on, what was the atmosphere like? Was it any different than, 15 years ago?
It was so funny. Because, we get out of the rent-a-car and people were, outside the arena, and I'm going, oh, my God, everybody should be like, who are those guys? And just everybody I was standing out there was going, Headbangers! We're screaming our names.
You're thinking all these, little, 15-year-old kids are going to walk in and be like, those guys are old. What are they going to do?
It was just so funny, because the worst thing that you have on your mind is, holy shit, nobody's going to fucking remember who you are.
Yeah, it's rather either booed or cheered.
Yeah.
No reaction's the worst reaction.
Exactly. We got out of the car and we got that, and it kind of settled us down. But we got in there, and the behind the scene is still pretty much set up the same way. It's a little bit more, I guess, high tech now than it used to be.
Oh yeah.
But most of the guys were really, really receptive. We walked into the catering where catering was. John Cena came right up. He was like, "Guys, great to have you here. Thanks for coming back." And really, really, welcoming, and it really made you feel good and stuff like that. Because it's their house now.
Yeah.
That's their locker room. We weren't there to step on anybody's toes. We just wanted to come in, do what we were asked to do, and hopefully that opens up the doors for many more appearances. Cross my fingers. Everybody was real. We saw Shane. Shane comes running over to us, gives us a big hug. You can say, "Jesus Christ, you guys haven't aged a bit."
No, you
guys looked great.
You guys looked great,
out.
and it didn't seem like you skipped a beat at all. Like you were great.
Here's the funny thing is, we've been wrestling, but not as consistent as some of the other guys that come in there. So me and Chaz don't have the wear and tear on our bodies that a normal person that has been in the business as long as we have has. So for us to go in and just pick up where we left off and stuff like that, it didn't surprise me at all. And frankly, I just had my second knee surgery. It was 13 months ago. So
wow.
To go back in, it felt really good. Everybody was great. It was more than I imagined it was going to be.
Yeah, I just think it's very. I think it's very rewarding because I remember you guys were rallying to come back to WWE for a while, for a few years, and to finally see it happen as a
so
fan,
surreal,
because I'm not blowing smoke at all. I don't really blow smoke to anybody. You can ask Nick, but you guys are my favorite tag team. I relate to you guys probably more than any other tag team because you are actually on a heavy metal and wrestling show. So you're perfect to have on as a guest because, your character.
We compare ourselves to you guys all the time.
Absolutely.
Like, we're just these two big wrestling and metal fans, We're just like, it's literally us.
Here's the funniest part to the whole character and stuff like that. The way Jim Cornette came up with this is because he knew us. He knew that we listened to Manson. He knew we listened to Metallica. He knew that we listened to all that, as he would call it, heavy metal crap. And he knew that, we had the tattoos. I had the earrings and stuff like that. And he knew that we were just crazy, fun-loving, that we didn't care what everybody thought about us or anything else. We were just out having a good time, as long as it wasn't hurting somebody.
That's how we are.
He knew that. And here's the funny story, if you really want to picture this.
Sure.
Jim Cornette at a Glenn Danzig concert.
Woo-hoo! Oh, wow.
I would love to see that.
That's how he came up with the Headbangers. He was at a Danzig concert, and he said, my God, he looked out into the audience, and that's all he saw were me and Chaz's faces all over the place. And the first names was Mosher and Slasher. So we had to get rid of Mosher and Slasher and change it to Mosher Thrasher,
which is much more relevant. It's
Could you imagine if you were Glamour instead of Thrasher? Glamour metal.
Yeah, oh God,
imagine how rough that would have been.
You're about 10 years too late if you came in as Glamour.
Yeah,
yeah, right.
Although we do love that stuff.
So just coming back and everything else. It's been a 5-year, story for me. I moved down to Florida. Chaz had a surprise birthday party, and I moved down here. I was 315 pounds.
Oh, wow!
And
wow.
I was when I said I checked out of wrestling, I checked out of wrestling so bad it was
checked
ugly.
out of wrestling, went straight to McDonald's.
McDonald's. Here's the funny thing is I was a supervisor for a very well-known popular pizza chain. So there was plenty of mess-ups every day, and they were coming home with me.
Oh,
coming home with a stack of like 15 pizzas.
If I was there, same thing. Same thing would happen if I was there.
I was like, you messed up that pizza, it's coming home with me.
You ain't like, they're not taking it. Those are mine.
You're the life of the party every time there's a get-together.
It was funny, I picked up my family. We actually lived in Maryland. We packed up our car and we had no place to live. We had no idea. We had no jobs, no nothing. We lived in a hotel for probably 2 weeks, something like that, and we were on the Tampa side, and Chaz was like, why don't you move over to here? This way you can be closer, the kids can be closer, because I have a 13-year-old daughter, and he has a 12-year-old son. So, you'll be closer, the kids can, spend more time together. So, that's how it happened, and, he introduced me to a gym called UFit Health Clubs, and now I can proudly say not only do I work out there, but I run the place.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
So you followed him all the way from the Monster Factory down to Florida throughout your whole WWE career. You just guys stuck together.
Tag team partners for life.
I joke with everybody. He is my longest standing relationship.
Mine's will be. It's the heavy metal Brady Bunch.
He's been with me longer than all my kids.
Oh man, that's great. But
it was a full circle for me. Just getting back in the ring, getting back into shape, and I dropped down. And I was as low as 217 pounds. I'm comfortable right now. I'm around 245ish.
Okay.
Give or take something. And when I left WWE, I was about 240 maybe. So relatively close in the same ballpark and everything else.
I also weigh 245 pounds. It's just not muscle.
Yeah. But what is it?
It's so funny because everybody always asks. I'm answering all your questions before you answer them.
That's okay.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
It's funny because everybody always asks, why did you get released? Why did you get released? Back in 1999, I had my first ever operation on my knee, and I had my ACL replaced and my meniscus repaired.
Oh, wow.
And then eventually it had to be removed. When you're used to running the way we were running and jumping and diving and flipping and all that stuff that we were used to doing, and when you go back after something like that and you're hesitant, you're really not into it. I wore a knee brace and stuff like that. I couldn't run properly. It was affecting my head more than anything else. My knee was fine. It was more of a head game for me that I couldn't get it out of my head. I was too.
You were more worried
to happen to my knee again.
Yeah. That happens every time with everybody. Something happens. You favor that so much, you're afraid of even doing the slightest bit of exertion,
and it affects your performance.
But here's the weirdest thing: is my second one that I had it operated on July 30th of 2015. Sorry, it was last year. I was back in the ring September.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
That's like what, 3 months, 4 months?
I didn't do as much, and it was the same thing. My ACL, meniscus, same surgery I had on the first one. I think I just had a much better doctor, and I didn't let it affect me the way that the first one did, or anything else. I was in a better place mentally with my rehab and what I knew what was coming.
Yeah.
Right.
I knew the pain I was going to go through. I knew how I had to go about doing it. And then I also had the gym right at my back door.
Yeah.
And my wife pushing me. She only pushed me down the steps once.
But sometimes you have to. Sometimes you have to.
Yeah.
Once that has been on the records.
Nick deserves it every week.
I had my own rehab place with the gym, right there that I was working at. So, I was out of work maybe 5 days, and I was back in the gym, at least doing upper body and stuff like that. So, and the doctors today, they had me up right away, rehabbing the knee. I was actually in rehab the next day after surgery.
Wow.
Damn.
So, yeah, it was
wounds are still
totally
fresh.
different way. And I just, that's the one regret I have, I guess, from my WWE days, is I wish I didn't let that affect me as much as it did.
Yeah.
Because, we could have ended it a little bit different. We could have had a longer run, even though, Creative didn't have anything for us either.
Something always comes around the corner, though, you can't really blame yourself, though.
That's not all.
You're
That's
thinking of your
not on
well-being
you.
more so. You rather walk tomorrow, and instead of wrestling tonight.
Yeah.
It's always about what's going to happen later on. Because we obviously can't no one can wrestle forever, and it's very clear that can't happen. And we were just at the Icons Wrestling Convention here in Philadelphia, and just watching
Hometown.
Well, yeah,
you guys are right in our hometown.
Yeah, that's
We were
right.
Both born and raised in South Jersey.
Philly boys right here.
Of course.
And we would just see everybody that would still be semi-active, more active than the way you described, and they all have limps. I'm not downing them or anything, but you can tell that like time really does take its toll on your body, especially doing that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I got a question for you. Today, obviously, I'm sure you know, it's the anniversary of you guys winning your tag team titles at Ground Zero. I just want to know, what was it like? What is that feeling like of holding that gold in your hand for that little while?
It was so funny because we didn't know about it until Jim Cornette took us down to the parking garage. So we're down in the parking garage. He goes, guys, I just have to tell you this. And we're like, Jesus Christ, what? Are we in trouble? He's like, no, you're not in trouble. I said, are we getting fired? He's like, no,
what did we do this time?
Exactly. That's exactly what I thought. What did we do this time? And he goes, I wanted to be the one to tell you, you guys are winning the belts tonight. We're like, all right, cool. Goes,
all right, cool.
Down here.
It's good. I still keep my job. I'll see you later.
Right. He's like, no, I brought you down here to jump around and act like the idiots that you are, that I know that you're trying to prevent yourself from doing right now. And then me and Kaz looked at each other and we were like, woo, all right. And we were screaming and yelling, hooting and hollering and everything else. He goes, that's why I brought you down here.
Yeah.
So he knew exactly the way we were going to react about that.
This way he brought you safely away from everyone else.
Yes, so we didn't look like idiots.
Open up the two-man mosh pit to be safe.
So, I mean, and there's nothing bigger, I guess, in, the sports entertainment than being recognized as a champion, no matter at what level it is.
Of course.
They even put the NWA tag team belts on us when we beat Ricky and Robert and stuff like that. That was it's a huge honor because they're signifying you as being the best in that group right now.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, it was the World Tag Team Champion. It wasn't just the WWF Tag Team at that time.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
That's amazing.
So it was a huge honor. Be it what it may be, that it was only I don't know, a month and a half.
Yeah, it was about a month.
Whatever.
I think.
We were still tag team champs. So
you're still in the record books as tag team champions. It counts, man.
They still announced us, last Tuesday as being current or former WWE Tag Team Champs. So
that's what we did. That's what we do.
It was awesome.
Was that your only title reign as tag team champs?
We had that one and the NWA one, yes.
Okay, but you were also the hardcore champion for a good 15 seconds.
Yeah.
It was 38 seconds. Give me the credit I deserve.
Oh, okay. Excuse us.
And don't you forget it.
38 seconds.
Well, that still counts. Still counts. Still counts.
That title changed place, I think, 3 times within that night or something like that?
Oh, my God.
Didn't Mosh... Mosh was the one that kind of screwed you over for that, wasn't it?
No, Pete Gas hit me in the head with a fire extinguisher after he exploded it in my face.
Oh, God. That's a name I haven't heard in a long time. Pete Gas. The Main Street Posse.
Yeah, and I think, what is it, after you guys split for the second time, then they went. Your partner went on to team with D'Lo Brown, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I remember that. I remember that. You had to mention that for me to remember.
Yeah, I remember that very vaguely as a young child.
the lowdown.
But,
yes.
Yeah. All right, guys. I hate to cut you off, but I got to get going.
No, absolutely. It was great talking to you.
It was a pleasure, man.
All right, guys. I'll pop back in. Before you know it.
Awesome.
Right,
have a
good,
good one, man.